Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Divergent Disco. My name is Tasha. I am your host. This is a podcast for neurodivergent creatives and entrepreneurs. And today we are here with my friend, Allan Hughes, and we're here to talk so many good things about theater and neurodivergent brains. And Allan, I want to pass it off to you and like how you want to introduce yourself to this community.
Oh my gosh. Well, hello. Thank you for having me. It's crazy to be reconnecting on such an important topic after,
Mm,
it's been a few months that we haven't seen each other and it feels like a lifetime.
yes.
But introducing myself, I am a proudly gay theater advocate that is sort of discovering this journey of myself and neurodivergence and navigating what it's like to feel different and to consistently, compare yourself to those around you and just realizing that the world is different. There are so many people that are like me that are not like me, and that's okay. So, in a nutshell,
Have you ever heard the term neuroqueer?
I have not.
Okay.
I could say I am a neurodivergent baby infant
Oh,
because
a baby.
just a bebe, like Moira would say. R.I.P. Catherine O'Hara. I
Oh,
love her.
yes.
What a woman.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, okay. So, the way that I understand neuroqueer, and I identify as neuroqueer because I feel like my queerness and my neurodivergentness intertwine. Like they are not separate from each other. So, I am neurodivergent as I am queer. And it is all this beautiful spectrum. And I also feel like neuroqueer is more of that advocacy lane of trying to
Yeah.
dismantle the systems and advocate while within this label. So that's kind of how I understand neuroqueer. And I feel like that's kind of like right up your alley. And I
No,
also
I
don't
love
want to
that.
put, yeah, like, do you identify as queer? Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I am queer until the sun comes up tomorrow, like 100%.
Because I have heard some discourse recently on the interwebs about being gay versus being queer and how some people choose one or the other for like different reasons. So I find that to be
Yeah.
really interesting because queerness also, I feel like, is that not that gay is not, but queerness is for sure that advocacy lane, of
Hmm.
wanting to create change while within that. So, yes, I'm so excited that you're here. I feel like this is such a good conversation for so many people, especially people who are just finding out about their queerness or about their being neurodivergent.
Yeah,
Um, and you had asked me a question before we started,
I did.
and I want to ask you that question first, and then we'll get to me.
Oh
What does being
gosh.
neurodivergent mean to you?
So I don't want to give a textbook response. So like the first thing that comes to mind is just being okay with yourself for thinking differently, for
Hmm.
having a brain that works differently than some people around you. I think that oftentimes, I was texting you earlier today and I was like, I have ADHD, self-diagnosed, undiagnosed. Um, but having like a brain that functions differently than other people and being okay with that and being proud of that.
Hmm.
I think just to sort of circle back on what you said at the very beginning of like you identify as neuroqueer, like I identify as queer, and that is a label that helps me. I identify as gay. I can identify as, neurodivergent, and I'm kind of losing my train of thought here. My apologies. But
As we do. Yes.
as we do, um, yeah, I think that being neurodivergent is just being in tune with your mind and knowing that it's not always going to be as you think it should be or what you want it to be. And that can look so many different ways. It can be diagnoses, it can be, um, you know, identities, it can be so many things. And I think that that is what I've loved as I've started to research what neurodivergence is. And I want to get to this point right now before I forget, because I think I would if I didn't say it. What really like sparked my interest in sort of learning about, oh, neurodivergence, like it was a term that I had seen more frequently on my social media pages. And I was like, why is this recommended for me? Like, what is
Hmm.
this? And
Yeah.
specifically, it was a video that you posted on your Instagram of you when you get the, I don't remember what you call it. I like to call it the zoomies almost because it
Yeah.
reminds me of that. And you were biting your partner, like you're just
Yeah.
like, eh. And I was like, Jesus, I do that. Someone else out there does that, but not only do they do that, they're proud to just post that because that's human life and that is who they are. And that was so inspiring. And I was like, okay, I'm not alone. When my boyfriend looks at me as the loving man that he is and says, "You're creepy," I'm like, yeah, I am. And here we are. He still loves me and is so incredible and supportive of everything. So,
I love that. I love that so much. And that's like putting that stuff online. There are people that have commented about that those videos being performative, which is totally fine because I'm like, life is a performance. Back
mhm,
off. I am an actor. Okay. So if you are
correct.
questioning it, like toss, toss, yes, life's a performance.
Oh, I love
But
a toss toss.
there are also moments where I feel those zoomies coming on and I just set up the camera because I know that that's going to happen. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
here it comes. Right. But the inspiration piece, it's so interesting. I'm so much more comfortable putting that stuff online of me stimming like that than my opinions. That's
Hmm.
so much harder. And I think for me, that is because I am so scared of doing the neurotypical thing wrong, right? Like saying the thing incorrectly. And I have to
Hmm.
like retrain myself out of trying to be neurotypical and following how someone tells a story. It's like
Hmm.
here, here, here. Then we tie it up in a nice little bow. And that's not how our brains work. And I'm going to say R for like, there's obviously it's a spectrum, but like
Yeah.
our brains work so differently. And that's, I guess, a question that I have for you is like, how do you notice your brain works differently, especially when interacting with other people?
Oh, that is such a great question that as I've like come into myself and spent a lot of time working on me as this young adult that I am, no longer a kid. Like I am a kid always inside,
Oh,
but
yeah, I
um
feel that.
the number on paper and the numbers that I submit to taxes are telling a different story.
Oh, the fact that
Um
you submit to taxes, it's like that is so adult.
yeah, submit to taxes instead of filing them. Who knows? Um but no, crap, see I forgot your question. Um
When
what
interacting with other people.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's all coming back.
Mhm.
So one thing that I've really noticed, and I've mentioned to so many people that are close to me when I'm having conversations with them, like my best friends or my boyfriend, I will have a moment and let me try and think. I have a perfect example of last night. I was talking about a song, Jordan Sparks, I will plug one step at a time, such
Mm.
a banger.
Mhm.
My friend and I were talking about that song. I immediately thought about this video of Jennifer Samard because we were just chatting about music. And immediately, as I'm listening to him and we're just actively talking, my brain within milliseconds was like, Jordan Sparks, one step at a time. Jennifer Samard's video on Instagram of her walking to Jordan Sparks one step at a time. Hey, Ty, why do you not enjoy having Instagram? And I was like,
Got there quick.
I'm like, and that all happens simultaneously as I'm having conversations or as I'm, receiving information. And I've noticed that pattern and it used to frustrate me. It used to make me feel like you're not actively listening because, some pieces of society are like, you need to actively listen all the time. And then I just realized that's the way that my brain is processing information. And that is the way that my brain can, similar to what you said, the way our brain tells a story. Like that is
Mhm.
the way my brain knows how to tell a story. My brain is having a conversation, it receives that information, and then it's just boom to the next part of the story. Um, that's such a wonderful question.
It's really interesting because the way that I relate to that is oftentimes eye contact is super distracting with people, especially I don't know. It's really
Yes.
distracting to try and be polite about eye contact when I have like I my brain is like a kaleidoscope.
Mm,
So when someone's telling a story, I think there's some synesthesia in there when like names and numbers are associated with color. Like I see
mm-hmm,
that stuff, right?
mm-hmm,
And so it's really interesting when someone is telling a story. What I used to get in trouble for as a kid is that whole like not paying attention thing.
mm-hmm.
But I would be paying such close attention by not interacting solely just with my face and body that some of the shit I said as a kid was like, I mean, stoner moment. Like it would be like, whoa, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and people would be like, why can't you just say like a normal answer? It's like, well, that shit's boring. Have you seen what's in my brain? You know?
Yeah.
So that's
And
really
then that
interesting.
poses,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that that poses what is normal, like what is normal to you, because what's normal to you might be not what's normal to me.
Yeah, this whole like normal, you know, I have been really leaning into confidence lately in just feeling like I really know myself. And that's a really cool thing, right?
Yeah.
And in being more confident, I think you realize, or at least I have realized, how much bullshit there is. And once you start releasing the valve or like taking away the film, right,
Uh-huh.
you start to see that everyone's just making everything up and you can also make everything up and do what you want.
No, I love that take so much because as a very brief side tangent, I've recently been going into like had a very difficult moment in my life and I'm going into a new chapter, I sort of feel. And I think that that's saying that, everybody makes something up. I think that is so valid because it can go both ways. It can go a neutral way, it can go a positive way, it can go as a negative self-sabotage way. Like the brain is so fascinating. That is what I'm getting at.
So the brain is fascinating. It feels glittery and sparkly in my mind.
Yes, yes.
Also, what feels this segue is just like so good. Also, what feels glittery and sparkly is theater. Da 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 da.
Oh, I love it. Oh
So
my
that
God.
segue. Okay, so let's talk a bit about our experience together. So
Yes.
I want to let our audience know that we did a show called Everybody's Talking About Jamie, which in my mind, sometimes I want to say everybody loves Jamie because everybody loves Raymond,
Loves Raymond. I,
which
I did the same
I
thing.
never watch.
I didn't either, but like it's so ingrained in culture. I'm like, I did the same thing.
Okay, our like beginning circle, I'm pretty sure I called it that like 3 times because I was like, I still didn't know what show I was like signed up for at that point. But so I went into this show um very divinely because I hadn't done a show in a while. And to be honest, um I was nervous to do a show at this particular theater because my last experience was like culty and trippy as hell. I did hair at this theater when it first went was in like the new space. And
Really?
yes, and it was like we trauma bonded and it was just like a lot. It was a lot. So I was like, wait,
Yeah.
I'm not ready to just like emotionally invest in a show like I did that first time. And I had heard so many good things about like this iteration of what the theater was. My audition was not great. And thank God people knew me because I was just like, I don't know what I just did. I blacked out. And then I did my callback via video and I ended up getting cast for those of you that don't know, everybody's talking about Jamie is a beautiful story about a gay teenage boy who wants to be a drag queen and all of his trials and tribulations and things that he goes through in high school, being bullied, and of course, which is so sad that that's always the story. Um, but I played the villain. So this character that I played, Miss Hedge, had no like positive arc. She did not develop as a character. So she was just like, wait, what? Oh, at the end, maybe the way that I played it, I guess. I was
Yes.
like, this bitch
Do
is
not
gonna
discredit and
have
skip over yourself.
redemption. Okay. Okay.
I
You're right.
we'll get to that because I loved that, and we'll get to that because that deserves a
Okay.
spotlight.
You're right. You're right. I do want to. So I like, yeah, I like made her have a moment at the end because I was just like, damn, they really didn't write much for her.
No,
But
no.
yeah, so we did this show together, and one of the most beautiful things about Alan, and I'm going to put you on a little pedestal for a moment.
No.
One of the most beautiful things was that Alan always had such wise, beautiful things to say. And the way I have chills. So, like, I think that that's beautiful in itself to be in a group of people and be able to say such wise, beautiful things. And there were so many young people in this cast
Yeah.
that were so inspired by your hard work. And as a performer, your consistency, I do have to say, your consistency was like just top bar, like very high bar for
Thank you. Thank you.
consistency. Really, it was tremendous every night, just nailing it. Like there was never a night where things you always just like really got into the character in different ways and explored things, but like the consistency with your voice and your choices was always just like just so phenomenal.
Thank you.
So yes, of course. So Alan and I connected a few times on being neurodivergent because I always disclose to a cast that I'm autistic just because I want to get that shit out there. There are going to be glitchy moments where you think I'm pissed at you and I'm just not. And I don't have
Hmm.
the mental space sometimes to like try and tell people that it's not that serious. Um
Right.
so that's like one of the things that we connected on was like the
Hmm.
neurodivergent piece.
Hmm.
Yeah. What is coming up for you around that experience or around connecting?
Yeah. So a little bit of insight for our listeners, our audience, if you will, since we're in the theater world.
Yes.
Um, I played the lead dog of Jamie. Just kidding. I
The
was
lead dog.
dog. Yeah, woof woof. Um, no, I was, as Tasha and our entire cast knew. Um, this was the role of a lifetime for me. Um, it is a show from the United Kingdom. I don't know why I didn't just say UK, but it's from
Because
across the
you
pond.
it deserves that. It deserves the whole
Yeah,
words.
yeah. And it's just a show that hasn't come to the US. And I think that the company that we did it with was maybe one of like the fourth or fifth ever to do it in the US. And
Mm-hmm.
I was inspired. There's a pro shot of the show on YouTube. And I saw it when I was about to go into college, and I fell in love with the show, with the story. And it's based on a true story. And as you said, you know, it's so sad that that has to be the case. But that resonated with me, and I'm sure hundreds of, if not thousands, maybe millions of people that are familiar with it. And so circling back, I was beyond blessed to have the opportunity to play Jamie as someone that identifies as a queer person, as you know, someone that has struggled through their own things similar to his. Um, but to sort of tie it all back into neurodivergence, um, Tasha was my villain. I had my own sort of arc, and I had moments where I felt like a villain in the show based on the way I reacted to, you know, my characters' experiences. It was one of my favorite moments every night, actually, was hearing audiences' reactions to this moment in the show. And I don't want to spoil for any viewers because they need to go watch the bootleg. I'm not plugging it, but I'm plugging it.
Oh my God, it's so good.
It's so good. But Jamie has this moment where he finds out some things that weren't true for a very long time, and he snaps on people that are really close to him and goes down a not so great path for a little bit. But with Tasha playing my villain, like I'm this over the top most of the time, bubbly, like outgoing, social little butterfly that wears a pair of 6.5-inch red stilettos. And I was really embodying that. And Tasha's over here, incredibly sweet and incredibly kind, and letting people like us know, like, hey, sometimes things aren't that deep. And I think our cast did a great job of that. There was another actor that played my aged bully. And there were multiple times where he shared with us that it was hard for him to do that because he didn't want people to think that's who he was. And I think that's such a beautiful reflection, but also for us to be able to support him and say, we know that you're just acting, you're
Yeah.
having fun.
Yeah.
Um, but my biggest thing with Tosh, and I think I mentioned this to her, what we would have side conversations, and I feel like I don't know if I phrase it this way, but Tasha has the best RBF. Like I I look back at our production photos and my partner is obsessed with you. You, I hope, know how much Eric is obsessed with you.
Yeah. I
Um,
love it. I love it so much.
they could not have cast a better villainous-esque woman with the RBF that is, you know, I'm allowed to say cunty, like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Miss Hedge. Miss Hedge is cunty.
Yes.
And Tasha, you portrayed that so, so well. And like you gave us, and I think our cast did such a great job of creating a safe space for all of
Mhm.
us, for wherever we
Mhm.
were coming from. And that was a life changing experience. Meeting people like
Mm.
you was a life changing experience. And you put me on a pedestal. So I put you on one. Like you were so shaping, what's the word? Mm. You were so influential
Mm.
in the way in which I approached the show every night because our characters had a several scenes that were pretty tough, and
Yeah.
we would check in with each other after running a scene, especially once we got to more of those tech things. Like we would check in because it got so real in a safe way, but it got real. But where I want to give you your flowers, Tasha, is that character arc that we briefly mentioned before is you developed this character. Our director came to us and said, "Hey, Tasha had this fabulous idea that can I spoil what
Yeah.
the idea is?"
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So Ms. Edge is the villain, and you're like, why? What does she have? You see her develop a little, and Tasha did a great job of playing this. At the beginning of the show, the very top of the show, the first thing that Jamie says to Miss Hedge, not first thing, but one of the first few, is, I said I liked your shoes, miss, because he's a queen, he's a diva, he likes her heels, even if they were knockoff Jimmy Choos.
Yeah.
And full circle, credit to the writers of the show, and it's slipping my mind right now, but I'll plug them. Just not it's slipping my mind. I'd have to grab my playbill. But um, at the very end of the show, the last line that Miss Hedge has to Jamie is "Nice shoes, Jamie." And so Tasha had created this character arc for Miss Hedge. I'm speaking in third person, like you're not right here, but you created this character arc for Miss Hedge that the reason that she, and please correct me if I'm wrong, um, but that Miss Hedge was exploring her own identity and her own sexuality and her own feelings. And she was envious in a way of how confidently Jamie could do that.
Yeah.
And that, like you said, the writers, they didn't give a lot for that, which is what is beautiful about theater is interpretation.
Mhm.
And you took that and ran with that. That is an experience like I don't know if the professionals did that in the West End. I don't know if
Mhm.
Michelle Visage had that take on it, but Tasha had that take. You had that take, and it was beautiful. And for me as a human outside of the character, that was my one of my favorite moments in the whole show. Every night was me standing on stage in front of an audience of hundreds in a dress, a boy in a dress, like full
Mhm.
on prom glam. And that was something I never thought I'd have the confidence to do. And I
Oh,
did
it
it
was
as
so
this
good.
character. It was so good. Oh, I was like, I felt like a diva. I loved it. Um, but standing there and knowing what that character arc story was, and having, I think it was like almost, it was our last show, like having you say that line to me for the last time, I was like choking back tears because it was
Oh
so
my God,
beautiful. And
same.
oh, like, and I know I remember this, and you could ask my references. That last show, this is something that will stick with me forever. When you said that line, it was the first time that we made eye contact.
Yes. Oh my God, I remember that. My whole like, oh my God, I almost lost my shit.
Like we'd made eye contact briefly during the show, but it was not like every night when you had said that, you would always look down at my shoes, nice shoes,
hmm
Jamie. And then I would try to look at you and you would usually still be looking down. But that last night, you delivered it. You looked down and then looked up at me and delivered it to my face. And I'm like, this woman wants to make me sob. I'm like, I have lines after this. Um,
Yes.
but
Oh
yes,
my
anyhow,
God. And
those are
that's,
your flowers.
thank you. But like one of the most
Yeah.
devastating parts, I think for me was before Miss Hedge has this solo, well, half a solo, because she never gets her full solo. It was this moment in the show where Jamie was trying to draw on eyebrows and did it just
Oh,
like so poorly, but like he really
oh,
tried. And me as a human, it was very cruel to like step into that acting space of having him walk the halls as a quote unquote work of art, but
uh,
knowing that she was doing her damn best to humiliate him.
yeah,
That was really dark. And it's really interesting too, like bringing the neurodivergentness back into
yeah,
things, like how we can world build as theater artists because we're neurodivergent, I think is such a skill. I don't know what it's like to
yeah,
be neurotypical. I don't understand being neurotypical. I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's
yeah,
neurotypical people around me because I feel like we all find each other. But in theater, especially, I find that there are so many neurodivergent and
yeah,
neuroqueer and queer people because the arts are so, you have to dig so deep for so many of the emotions
yeah.
to live your art, right? And I think that that has been a safe place for me. And I wonder about you growing up,
Yeah.
how was theater or spaces that were more like neurodivergent affirming, how did that influence your life?
Oh, you're a hard hitter with good questions, girl. Oh my God.
Former
I love it.
therapist, what can I
Mm.
say?
I I had such a good therapy session today, and I always say to myself,
Oh, good.
I I wish that I would have gone into this because I love helping people, and I feel like I would find the good people to help. I'd be like, yeah, you need that, I got you. But anyhow,
Honey bunny, you can do anything you want with your life. Just
this
saying.
is true. This is very true. Um, and now I have to ask you to try and go back to that question because God.
Yes. You know what's interesting? The way that I
Oh,
go back. Okay, I'm glad that I'm going to go on a tangent for a second. So
yeah.
hold that thought. The way that I go back into information, and I want to describe this for anyone listening that experiences this. I go back into the body sensation that I had when I asked it, and my brain always remembers what the question was. It's never through words. I never try to
Uh-huh.
think of the words. It's always
Uh-huh.
through body
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
feeling. And I think that
Yeah.
that is just such a cool thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's
I
go
want
to
to have
your
a tiny
question.
little I have a
Yeah,
tiny little
go.
tag to that, but then back to the
Yes.
question you asked. I feel very similar because when I am like right now when I'm trying to remember something and like go back to something in the moment of a conversation, I'll try to physically be like I'm gonna physically grab that question out of the air. I'm gonna physically there it is. And then it's like
Yep.
cool. Like I didn't need to think about the word necessarily. I need or the actual question itself. It was like, oh. It's like your brain is storing it because it just happened and it's not fully ready to say goodbye.
Yeah. No, that's like so similar. It's based on feeling rather
Yeah.
than the information in your brain, which I just want to say we are such, it is crazy to me that in our lives we've been taught out of sensation and feeling in the body
Hmm.
because we carry so much sensation and feeling in our body. And like
Hmm.
trauma, for instance, our body literally always remembers. And all we have to do is smell something or think of something. And our body's like, oh, yeah, that shitty time, right? Woo, I could go on a whole tangent about that.
We'll do a part two because
Yeah, seriously.
buckle up,
Woo.
Buttercup, buckle up. Um, but yes, um, you had asked along the lines of um, theater and being a safe space for people of like what that was like for me,
Hmm.
whether neurodivergence, queer, all of the beautiful spectrums of any rainbow and color shaped form. Um, theater always like theater and music, which is why I love musical theater,
Yes. Oh,
has always been a safety net for me. When I was a kid, I really looked up to my mom, and she is the one who sort of like your parents influence you, and she introduced me to music. She introduced me to ABBA. She introduced me to, U2, even though that's so crazy. Like, not my sham. ABBA, yes, ma'am. Um,
yes.
but but she introduced me to music at such a young age, and I loved it. And I loved, listening. I kind of similar to what you've said about visualizing like numbers with words. When I was a kid, and even now, when I hear certain songs, I can visualize so much where I was sometimes when I first heard that song or where or like how that makes me feel. In the musical Boop, there's a song where Betty Boop is literally experiencing the world of color for the first time. And she just
Mm,
says, yellow is warm and is describing colors as feelings. And that is how I feel with music. So with theater, musical theater, combining them both once again, um, theater allows me to escape the overthinking and the overwhelming feelings of day-to-day life in Alan's world. And I
yeah.
get to play a character. Jamie was very, very tough in the sense that I saw a lot of myself in Jamie. So there were moments of walking this fine line in your brain. But I think that neurotypical people are very good at doing things like that because of creativity and because they're just built different, as people would
Mm,
say. But like being able to heal through those experiences, through those characters that you get to play, through the people that you meet. And yeah, I mean, I think that kind of answers your question, but
yeah, it
theater
does.
is
It
such a safe
does.
space. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, what other spaces are there where you gather to create art together like that? I think that's such a special
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
And I've always had this fascination with impermanent art. Like I've been a food artist, I've been cake artist, things
Mm.
that like don't stick around forever. And theater is one of those things. Like you have to be there at that one show to witness everything that happens on stage and then it's
Yeah.
done. And I think it's this beautiful lesson on how to let things go.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I just think like the universe, do you ever think as a tangent in a segue into like where I'm going with this to then circle back to where we are?
Yes.
Do you
Take
are
me.
you one of the people, I feel like you're one of the people that would say you would like thank the universe. You would say, like the stars aligned for this to happen.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Because you could say no, but if you oh yes, period, keep following me.
Yeah.
Listeners, audience, as I like to call you. I love a stage. I love a stage. I have been trying to do this podcast with Tasha for several weeks, and life is crazy. Schedules are nuts. But when I tell you that the stars aligned and the universe said today, whatever today is, July 28th, is the day it needs to happen. I found out today that I got a callback for another very high priority role of myself that's going to, even if I don't get it tomorrow, if I go and I sing it off and I don't get that role, like I get to the experience, the chance to do that. And that in itself is healing that there was a casting and creative team that saw something within me that I always was hoping could be there. And like that's great. Where am I going with that? Uh
Hmm.
theater stars aligning. Oh, but this podcast, like this is such a refreshing conversation. And I thank you for that.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And also congratulations because
Thank you. Thank you.
getting a call back, like, can we just like, the job is great, right? Cool.
Hmm.
Wonderful. And that's the goal. Sure. Yes. But getting a call back is, I think we need to celebrate that more. Like, as a theater world, getting
Yeah.
a call back, right? Like, not everyone gets those, and I think that that is just so brilliant. And it is my goal on this planet to have deep, nourishing conversations with people because
Uh,
I'm just like so interested
yeah.
in our brains and our spirits and our emotions. And I think it's just fantastic when we get to be together in space and have community. So
Yeah.
I just really appreciate you spending time with me and doing this with me.
Same. Same. So much.
Yes. Yes. And so if anyone wants to reach out to you, contact you, um, are there things online? Can people follow you, see what you're up to? Yeah.
I don't post too often, but I want to get into a habit of posting things about my life. So Instagram is Allan, Allan, dot Hughes. Think about Howard Hughes. And if that reference doesn't make sense for you, they invented an airplane that floated. So Hughes for those that need it spelled out. Um, so yeah, Allan.j.hughes is my
Cool.
Instagram handle. Uh, I have
And
one
let's
question for
all,
you.
okay. Yes.
If we're wrapping up, I mean,
Yeah.
I listen to Amy. If I listen to Amy Poehler's podcast, it's taught me one thing. The minute that these fabulous hosts say, "What? How can people reach out?" I'm like, "Oh, my
I
podcast is
know.
over." I have a twofer. I'm gonna hit you for the twofer if you have the time.
Yes.
Two for one. First question. You asked me at the very beginning, and then you said you would get to talk, but I like to gab. What does neurodivergence mean to you?
Ooh. Okay.
When put on the spot and directly asked, what does it mean?
Yeah. Okay. So my brain goes to two lanes. One is the therapeutic lane, and the other is the social emotional lane. The therapeutic lane, being
Hmm.
neurodivergent, exploring this idea that there are different actual, like, physiological things that make a brain different.
Hmm.
Um, then going to the social emotional side of things, being neurodivergent is such a liberating part of my identity. And I feel like it's such amazing information to know about myself because it really helps me strategize how I'm going to change the world while I'm here. And
Hmm.
part of that is understanding that brains are different. And if we advocate for accommodations and if we advocate for folks with disabilities, then everyone benefits from that. So
Yeah.
being neurodivergent is a part of my activism as well. And being neurodivergent, is not all sunshine and rainbows. I think being autistic in this world is quite challenging and has its moments where shit's hard. Shit's really hard. And I mean, I wouldn't change it for anything because I have a brain that I'm really confident in. Um,
Yeah.
and I can challenge the status quo because I think differently.
You won't be in High School Musical. You're not going to stick to the status quo. Mm-mm-mm.
Nope.
Nope.
I will not. I will
No,
not.
no. As you shouldn't. Now I have to hit you with my twofer because I said it was a
Okay.
twofer. That was such a beautiful response.
Thank
And
you.
so relatable because there are
Mm,
so many times where like I feel like as a neurodivergent person or myself who's like realizing I'll admit I admitted it earlier, like I feel like a baby neurodivergent identifying person because I never was given the resources, the tools, the exposure. There weren't platforms like, I mean, I'm not like in my 50s. I'm not a boomer, but I grew up through a time I'll just side tangent this in the back of my head, but I grew up in a time where I am a very unique sub generation that is not Gen Z, but it's not millennial. I forget what they're calling it, but
hmm
I always identified that way my whole life. And I'm like, oh, cool, cool. It took till I was almost 27 years old for the majority of mainstream society to realize, hey, those people born, in the late 90s that aren't necessarily millennial, that aren't Gen Z, like they were different. Like
hmm
technology grew with me. But that being said, I didn't have for a very long time when I was going through developmental stages in my life, I didn't have platforms like Instagram or TikTok to see amazing creators like yourself putting out content that people could find relatable because they weren't afraid to just show all of the sides of themselves and to show my favorite little series ever, the messy middle of things.
Mm.
And that was one of the other few things at the beginning. I was like, this is sparking conversation with myself. This is sparking in curiosity. And now here I am, and I'm having wonderful, beautiful conversations with you. So thank you for that. Um,
Yes.
plugging Tasha's. Uh, would you call that a web series? What would you call that?
Yeah, I did a little, series on Instagram called The Messy Middle, which you should tune into my sister's Instagram because she's doing the messy sacred middle right
Oh,
now. And
oh,
she's discovering a lot about herself right now too. So plug at Crystal Alexandria on Instagram to follow more.
yes. And then secondly, for someone like myself or somebody that discovers this podcast and they are questioning how they feel different, whether it's because one day they're going to identify as neurodivergent, or maybe they're on the queer spectrum, maybe they are just somebody that doesn't feel like they belong. What one piece of advice would you want to give to that person?
Hmm. What a great question. There is a feeling inside of you if you know that you are made for more. And oftentimes it can come with some pretty dark human experience. So you might be experiencing some darkness, some pain, some things around you. And there's this feeling inside you, this fire in your belly or in your chest that you were just made for more. You were just made for a different kind of life. And this can't be everything. This can't be it. Just know that you will be shown at some point in your life how your differences make you so unique and powerful. And you will be shown the life of your dreams if you stay open to it. And please, please, please love yourself along the way. If there's anything that you can do, it is to love yourself first. And don't be mean to yourself.
I needed to hear that today. I
Mm.
didn't even realize I did until you said it. Um, yeah, I need to love myself. Everyone should love themselves. And some days it's not going to be as easy as other days. Some days it's very tough.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Truly, such a
Yes.
wonderful conversation.
Thank you so much for listening to the Divergent Disco podcast. I'm Tasha, and I just want to say a brief thank you to everyone who listens to this podcast. As we grow and build, it's really wonderful to see folks tuning in. If you like this podcast, if you like this episode, please rate and review. 5 stars are always appreciated, and comment your thoughts. I hope to catch you on the interwebs. I am at tosh.irl underscore on Instagram and tashasimpson.social@gmail.com. We'll see you next time.